All right, everybody. So let's have ourselves a little bit of InBody body fat analysis. Since I'm recording day in the life of what I eat, let's see where we're at on the numbers. And I decided to pull this up, got a little screen share going here, so you can see me, see the InBody scans. So right here, I have the very first InBody I ever did, October 11th, 2018. This is when we actually got the InBodies at the gym. First one I ever did right here. So back then, came in at 206 pounds, 20% body fat. InBody saying I need to lose 13 pounds of fat. Visceral fat score at a 9, not great. And skeletal muscle mass, 93 pounds. Not too great. No, not looking like I'm chasing excellence too much here. 33 years old back then. And yeah. So, it's the first one I ever did. Most recent one. This is where we're at now. So, most recent one done on the February 18th. We have ourselves down to 12.6% body fat, muscle up to 100 pounds, visceral fat score of 5, and you can see the difference here in my trunk. So back there, 24.7 pounds of fat in my trunk. Now I'm down to 14.6 pounds of fat in my trunk. Pretty significant. I mean, it's 10 pounds of fat. Visual of that, there's a 5-pound chunk of fat at the Sal Gym. It's like this big. So 2 of those, I mean, it's significant. So pretty massive change in 7 years, if you will. This is 40 years old. Now, what's cool about coming in here online is it shows the history and the graphs. And what you can see here, spelled out here, is consistency, right? So, just looking at the body fat, fluctuating between body weight, total weight. This is why the scale alone kind of sucks. So fluctuating between 206 pounds and 191 pounds has been the range I've been in for the last 7-8 years. 8 years? Yeah, 7-8 years. It's been the range. But you can see the trend here over time. Muscle actually was going down, but this was when I was like, damn, I need to lose some body fat. So muscle going to go down a little bit when you start trying to lose some body fat. And you can see the trend down in body fat over time. And you can see the trend a little bit down in muscle mass. Now, you're going to see an anomaly here. Kind of an anomaly. I'll explain this. So, right here, July 2019. 14.1%, 93.7 pounds of muscle. You might think, oh, that's when Derek went on testosterone. Furthest from the truth. Absolutely furthest from the truth. This was when I did 75 hard. This was at the end of my year of non-drinking. This was during a time when I was kind of towards the somewhat tail end of didn't drink for over a year, was doing everything perfect, rounded out that deal with 75 hard. I ended up going 110 days on the 75 hard challenge, and this is what happened. This is where that big 4% drop in body fat came and muscle grew, and that was the last time I weighed until 2023. Now you might be thinking, July 14th, 2019 to October 7th, 2023. So I didn't weigh for 4 years. 4 years. So I weighed on my birthday in 2023. I want to see at 39 years old how much I weighed. During that time, I fought, we had COVID, went through a lot of stuff mentally. And it was a very rough time for me personally, navigating many different things. And through that time, it just I kept training. I probably still averaged 3 days a week of training during that time. But what I did in 75 hard was simply not sustainable for life. It was not. It was not long-term sustainable. Nothing about what I did during that time was sustainable to get these results. So, many of you know, maybe around age 38, 39, kind of having that midlife crisis of just me personally. What am I doing? Why am I doing? Sore all the time, hurt all the time, don't feel great. This, that, blah, blah, blah. And then around this time of my birthday is when I read that book, Outlive, that my wife turned me on to by Peter Attia. And that's when the light bulb switch came on. That's when I found purpose again. That's when I found, how the new chapter, the non-competitive chapter of my life could evolve, give me permission to train again like an athlete, but within the context of health and wellness and the importance of optimal fitness, optimal nutrition, and how this facilitates long-term health. And I wanted to be there for my kids, my wife. I want to be there for my grandkids. I want to be able to lead you guys down a healthy and fit path. And this is where I got the permission to start pursuing that. Then, as you probably know, back in November of 2023 is when my daughter got sick. So that was, all that started coming to a head, and then in December she ended up in the hospital, and then we ended up with everything that went on there. So I digress a little bit. Those of you wondering, when I did start my commitment to TRT and made that choice with my doctor, and we're going to do a full-length episode on this some point so I can break it all down for you. But the goal of that was always to get me to a minimal effective dose to improve my energy, reduce my anxiety, improve my sleep, and just feel better overall. Just feel better. And that was all part of this switching my mindset to long-term health, and no longer, trying to be an athlete and do 75 hard year round and all this other shit, if you will. So that was all part of my big health outlook going into my 40th year of life. And that all was around here sometime where this kind of InBody took place. Now, current lab results, I got them right here. When it comes to the old testosterone, this is the one that is the most recent one that we checked. Where's that? Wait, LabCorp. Yeah, LabCorp right here. It still ain't it. Where's the most recent one? Oh, here's the first one. You guys probably can't see it, but testosterone was down 254, 256, and this was back in 2018. Right? Not great. I'm printing all these out. So here's the most recent one. Here it is. Most recent one. Yep. My guy ordered it. That's November. Still not the most recent one. Sorry, guys. I think this is kind of an impromptu video. But got stuff everywhere. I want to give you guys the most recent stuff. November. The way this thing prints out. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. November 2024. Yeah. Yeah. So this one is the most recent one. You guys don't care about all the other health metrics. That my cholesterol is in great condition, everything else is in good condition now. Nobody cares about that stuff. We just want to know where the testosterone's at, because that's the stuff that, you guys give it way more credit than it deserves. But total numbers right now, 644. Okay, free testosterone is at 12.6, so right in the middle there. But yeah, 644. This is on a scale for my age and reference points of 264 to 916. So I'm kind of right there in the middle, maybe leaning a little bit above middle. And the whole goal of that is to get to a minimum effective dose for quality of life for a 40-year-old who has been diagnosed hypogonadal. Right? We went through all the tests. Luteinizing hormone, sex binding globulin. I had an MRI of my pituitary gland, kidney scans, and every test that could possibly figure out a link on why my testosterone was so low for somebody that lived a pretty healthy and fit life. Did it all. Everything. Came down. I don't produce a lot of testosterone. It is what it is. I don't know when that started happening. I don't know if it has anything to do back with all the years in high school of cutting weight and training really hard. Did I disrupt my endocrine system back then? There's no answer for it, and it came down to a choice of quality of life and feeling good or not feeling good. So, me and my primary care provider, we implemented testosterone replacement therapy, and we titrated it up slowly over time, over the course of a year, to find the minimum effective dose that would get me to feeling like I feel good as a 40-year-old. If that's something that, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's where I'm at. It's what I decided to do for my health, well-being, mental well-being, and done all this. I decided I'm not competing anymore. I'm not trying to compete anymore. Not even doing the CrossFit Open. It's spelled out in the CrossFit handbook that being on medically supervised testosterone replacement therapy is banned substance in the CrossFit Open too. And just out of fairness, I get it. I took this on a health path for my wellness, nothing to do with performing against my peers in the gym. I could care less. What I do care about, though, is my long-term health, muscle mass for long-term health, body fat management for long-term health, and two variables that contribute to long-term health is a high VO2 max and high strength. These are two variables that are massive contributors to your long-term health. So I push what would be arguably like an athlete still, train like an athlete still, within the context of that being my goal. It's not about being the fittest person in the gym. I believe it or not, I give $0. I care about being the best version of myself for my family, and in that process of my health and wellness journey, sharing that with you all. So you can hopefully make, and I can maybe be an example of how to look at this from a wellness perspective, not just with hormones, but nutrition, training, the whole gamut. Because the fitter we are as we get older, the fitter we're going to be as we get older. That should make perfect sense. So we go back here, and as you can see, from 2023 to 2025, it's been a very consistent but slow progress. Hasn't been like some massive swing at all. You can come back here. It hasn't been somebody who was mega dosing testosterone. You wouldn't see a gradual 1.5 pounds of muscle mass increase. Like, this is very gradual. Even if you want to come back to 2018. Now, I never stopped strength training through all this. Over the course of 6-7 years, seeing a 10-pound increase in muscle is not outrageous. It's not outrageous. All right? this body fat drop from 17.2 down to 12.6, it's not outrageous, especially if you factor in when my daughter got sick right in here in December of 2024. Not 2024, December 2023, sorry. We completely leveled up our diet on a massive scale. And we ate pretty healthy, and then we made a massive jump into perfection. So, perfect diet, consistent training for a little over a year has led to this gradual downward trend in body fat and very, very gradual uptrend in muscle. These aren't outrageous. These are very reasonable, normal expectations for somebody doing things right, doing things the right way. And at 40 years old, these aren't outrageous numbers. They simply aren't. Now, they're all heading in the right direction and proving that consistency pays off. That's what it's showing. You guys see how I live my life, and this is the expectation that, potentially genetics does play a factor into this. Some people genetically can metabolize adipose tissue quicker, possibly gain muscle quicker. Genetics play a huge factor into this. But what I'm getting at here is it's not, it's not outrageous. It's consistent. It's trending in the right direction, but it's not like, you guys see what I do. I train consistently. I eat healthy. I had a member ask me this morning, when was your last cheat day? I was like, I don't remember my last cheat day, but if I had to do it, it was on the cruise that we just went on. And that's where we had a couple deviations from our diet, but in general, there hasn't been any. It's been near perfection with our diet for over a year now. And that is showing up in my performance in the gym. I'm maintaining strength pretty good. Have had a couple PRs, PR'd my deadlift, PR'd my strict press, kind of cool. Body fat's trending down. The drop here from 12.2 to 12.6, this massive deal here was when I cut the nuts out of my life. And not because I'm hypogonadal, not those nuts, right? They're already dysfunctional. We know that. You don't need to rub it in. It was cashews. That was the big one, and then peanuts number 2. I had a nut snacking problem. Come home, a couple handfuls of cashews, a couple handfuls of peanuts, and it was just like a mindless snack that kind of happened every single day. It ended up being an extra 800 or so calories per day. And I'm going to tell you, this 14.1 to 14.2 from March of 2024 to January, there wasn't much change here, and I'm actually pretty lucky there wasn't much change here. But what happened was mentally, I was like, how come I haven't changed? How come the body fat has, for almost a year, stayed the exact same? Muscle mass, almost the exact same. Although my fitness kept getting better. There hasn't been much change there, and it came down to a calorie equation. Protein wasn't always optimized. It was pretty good. I was probably between 180, 200 grams most days. And then back in October, my birthday, I started thinking, what's going on here? And then this is when I started, dialing back the nuts and really increasing protein and being very proactive in the protein intake. So here's my InBody scan. We looked at my blood work here. Cholesterol is looking great. All my other labs are looking great. A1C, that one's bugging me. It's at 5.3, and I'm wanting to figure out why it hasn't moved in a year. I thought it might move down, but it hasn't moved. It's been 5.3 for over a year now. That ain't bad. 5.3 is not bad at all, but it's not optimal. So it's just something for me to nerd out on. So that's why I'm rocking the glucose monitor again, just trying to fine tune that health metric and seeing if I can't get it to come down a little bit, because basically diabetes is the number one driver of disease. And although I'm not pre-diabetic at all, I mean, I think 5.9 is when you start dipping over towards that pre-diabetic side. 5.3, I would like to see that 5 or less as part of my long-term wellness outlook. So all the other labs, I don't even know what half this shit means, to be honest, but my wife is happy with it, so that's cool. And she's the boss of all that stuff. I just do them, and I listen to her suggestions, and we tackle it. But that you guys might get some value out of this, some perspective, and understanding that stuff does not happen overnight. It takes a long time, lots of consistency, and this is my history, my whole history right here of my body fat since getting the InBody machines over the last 7 years, and my muscle mass since getting them. Like that's the whole picture. So yeah, if you guys got questions on this, you got questions on your InBody scans, questions on nutrition, what I'm eating, I'm in the process of recording a day in the life of how I eat and live, and not sure how that's going to come out yet. It's interesting to just like record everything you eat and do. But this is my InBody evaluation of where I'm at. As far as goal when it comes to body fat, my goal is to get down to 10 pounds of fat in my trunk. You can tell that's where I store most of my fat. Most men do. Visceral fat is a big driver of metabolic health. I want to try to get that visceral fat down, and I'd like to possibly see this visceral fat score as a 3. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So InBody doesn't suggest I need to lose any more fat, which is kind of cool because back here it's at 13 pounds. Now it's happy. But I kind of want to optimize that visceral fat, and I think maybe 4 pounds. That's a lot. So I don't know if that ends up being 10% body fat. I have no clue. I'm in a healthy place right now. Like, this is a healthy place. Not trying to, I'm keeping the nuts. I'm still at a caloric deficit. I'm keeping the nuts out of the diet. I'm still at a caloric deficit. And we're just going to keep grinding away and see where 2025 takes the body composition. What I don't want to do is lose fat that I lose muscle mass. Muscle mass is king when it comes to metabolism, so making sure I'm seeing muscle trending up and or maintaining 100 pounds. I did change my goal here to 105 pounds of muscle and 20 pounds of fat. So I want to be on the upper percentile of muscle and the lower percentile, not too low. Still need some fat, so 20 pounds puts me right here. Might happen this year, might not. Like I said, I'm in a very happy, healthy place. Maintaining here is awesome. I do feel like I'm getting to a point with my lifestyle over the last year that it is very sustainable for me and my family. So we'll see where the year takes me. All right. Yeah. If you guys want to interpret your InBodies, sit down with me or one of your coaches. Happy to go over this with you. Happy to have these conversations. But this is where I'm at. And my goals. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later.